but I'm institutionalised. I still feel 15. Wear tracksuit bottoms every day and get told what to do.
Everything just had a little bit of spice.
It's getting a lot of praise, and that just it's nice, isn't it?
Hello! And welcome to Under the Lid with me, Katherine Sciver-Brunt. And as you can probably tell, my backup guest / co-host, Amy Jones. As you can probably tell also by now that Jack just can't be asked to do the show this week. So he's gone on a holiday, left me to pick up his slack. And so we've got a special kind of episode for you today. It's just me and Amy, your best mate, just talking as much, as we would like. So, hello, Amy.
Hello, Kathy.
This podcast is brought to you in partnership with the PCA and the Cricketer. However, while I am hosting on my own, I'm joined by an England star and one of the best keepers in the world. I believe the best keeper in the world. I'll just change that for you. I'm my best mate, my maid of honour, and here she is, Amy Jones. Shall we just get straight to it?
Yes.
Let's have a little catch up actually, because you've been on tour and I've been sort of doing other bits because I just find myself here, there, and everywhere at the minute. So I've actually not been able to catch up for a few days. So why don't you just talk us through that fantastic win yesterday and how you think it went?
Yeah, I think it was probably one of our best ODI performances. Obviously, Natalie leading from the front as always with her 100. Any 100 is always very good, but it was a special innings. It was I think
It's a good one because I was trying not to watch. I was like through slitted fingers.
It was a very good one. Yeah, she was playing with the field. She was hitting it. They'd change the field after every shot. She was she was playing with them. It was very, very high class batting. There was a little bit in the nervous 90s.
That's the unfortunate time where I switched on, and I wish I hadn't. Should maybe blame it on me.
Yeah, but then after the 100, she was clearing the ropes. It was brilliant innings.
There was a couple of maxis after that, wasn't there?
Well, they were quite big.
It felt like she just went, right, now time to play some actual cricket. It's funny that, isn't it? I mean, I've been in the nervous 90s myself, but not on TV and not for England, so I can't imagine what it feels like to not sort of, because she's been in the 90s and got out before, and then I reckon that makes it worse because you're like, oh, I can't do that again. Like it's not for a World Cup. We don't need to win this in X amount of overs. We don't need to, but you want to go. So it's like, oh, shall I get me 100? Shall I just look good doing it? Because it's all right. Use the last 4 overs. If you got out on 95 trying to smash a 6, like you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing your job. But literally 99.9% of the whole world is like, what the have you just done?
Yeah.
Like, why do you do that? Including your parents the most.
Everyone just wants you to get it, don't they, when you get that close.
Right, stop speaking about Nat. What about like the team as a whole? Is everybody happy with like how it went? How the last, was it 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks was it? I think we're happy. Obviously, 2 series wins. It does feel like a long time since the first game at Edgbaston. Obviously, different sort of challenges came up. 11 for 4 at the start, which I think was very bit of a shock, to be honest. I think first game of the summer, everyone's like desperate to impress, and a great crowd at Edgbaston. So I think that to get that sort of be put under that sort of pressure at the start from Pakistan, definitely. We knew we were in for a battle the whole way through, really.
It's good to see them like just competing as well. Because obviously in years gone by, it's not been the case, and so they're definitely fighting.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And they propose a different challenge, don't they, with their spin? obviously they've got a lot of skillful spinners.
Say grenades.
Grenades, it is some of them are a lot slower, which is a different challenge. Grenades.
I think a lot of people out there would like to know, because when I was commentating, you hear all this stuff, and you're like, how do I just put people right? Like, you don't know anything until you've done it yourself. So, like, outside comments are very annoying to deal with. So, give people a little bit of insight into what it's like to face extremely slow bowling. Like, it's just completely against everything you've ever trained for, or against what the best teams look like.
I think there's two sides to it. There's the actual like well, physical and technical side to it, where like you just tell yourself you've got to move late and fast, and not get drawn into moving slow because the bowling is coming down a lot slower than you used to. But then I think a big part of it is the mental side, where you're like, if you're facing like slow wide bowling, which is like a tactic that's like used a bit against us, it's really easy to just be like, oh, like you fluff it to cover, and you're like, oh, that's rubbish bowling, and you take it all sort of off you, as opposed to just viewing it as like a different challenge. Because you know what it's like when it's slow and wide and covers up, and you just can't get it through, and you're more tense, and you like try and hit it harder and harder, and it just goes nowhere. But I think also like a lot of their bowlers can bowl quicker. Like Nida Dar, she's very like
Is it Sadia Iqbal, the left armer?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's quite canny, actually. I quite like her. She's a good little bowler, isn't she? She's got a bit about her.
They're all very skillful. It's not like they can't bowl quicker. I think it's just they know it's effective against us. The tactic.
I think a lot of the time it's the one that you don't, like Heather Knight for us. It's the one you don't want to face. So, like, I feel like that was Aliyah Riaz.
Oh yeah,
Like, she's that proper part-timer, but so slow, and like would look like she's bowling off spin, but might just swing away or whatever. Like, they're the worst, aren't they? You just like, you want to smash, but they can just get you out so easy.
yeah. I found her the hardest, definitely, and she just kept putting her on the spot. Keep her up. Yeah. Or
Process bowling.
yeah. Oh yeah. You know how I feel about process bowling.
Don't reveal your secrets.
So what have you been up to?
Well, I've actually had a quite interesting week. Because normally when me and Jack talk about what we've been doing, right, he's quite boring. He's basically a dad and does a bit of cricket coaching, and he's like same thing every week. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what Jack's been up to this week. I think he's been coaching. We really need to get him a life. But we might have to let his child grow up a little bit first, because I believe children do take that away from you for quite some time. And they never thank you for it, which I've got to come. But my life is still fairly interesting. So I've had a Yorkshire Tea appearance this week, a little bit of an ambassador for them. I absolutely love them. When I think of Yorkshire Tea, might not be obviously the same from you being a Brummie, but I think of like countryside, a warm cup of like a strong brew by the fire, like family, like camping, like like just great times. That's what Yorkshire Tea does for me. And also I'm pretty sure the picture of is like a field with a cricket game going on it somewhere. Like, it couldn't be any more like me or great. So I just love that they asked me to work with them. So I did appearance for them this week in Bradford, and it's bloody fantastic. There was this Chance to Shine. It's obviously Yorkshire Tea have sponsored Chance to Shine for a long time. I think 10 years actually this year, and they had this cricket tournament going on. And you wouldn't believe, they're talking about Rishi's talking about building those pods, like cricket pods, in 16 counties in the country. Well, they are awesome. They're like actually awesome. Like, I saw one yesterday. I wish I'd taken some pictures. They'll be online. Um, but they're so great. A tenner for an hour. It's like a brand new facility. I had a bowl on it at Doward Milan, and it was like good, like proper good facility, and a big area. It's like a massive indoor. We used to play indoor back in our day. Um, like that. And honestly, if that was around as a kid, so good. And a tenner in today's world is not a lot. And you can hire out the whole thing, which is massive, by the way. You could get 2 simultaneous competitions going on for 50 quid. It's unreal. Like, I loved it. I was actually a little bit blown away, and I'm so happy that, because I wondered how they were going to build them all within that amount of money. Like, because it's like 32 million. I thought one of these might cost that, but I can see now where the money's gone. So, in terms of the future, like, that was so great. And I just went off on a massive tangent about that, but I thought it was really great to say. Other than that, I've had my wedding anniversary, 2 years of torture with Natalie Blunt. No, that was nice. And that you pulled me in a favour. That's what friends are for. Nice. Yeah, was that a good experience for you, writing my card and
Yeah.
getting some flowers together? But that was nice to be able to do that, because obviously we live strange lives, don't you? So sometimes you can't be everywhere at once. Um, she was lucky in that she could send it to a normal address, our home, but you know, I think sending it to Chelmsford somewhere, God knows where you're going to be on any given day. So, so thanks for that, Amo.
No, that's all right.
It was a lovely bouquet.
She did. She liked them a lot. Was happy to help. It went down very well. Yeah, yeah. I just marched into the changing room with them, so everyone was, as you can imagine, you know, cheering.
Right. So, question. Let's go into our question times now. Right. I'm just going to absolutely fill you up with all these questions because people want to know a lot about you. So you've won 5 ODI series in a row. Lovely. I think the percentage of that was, percentage wise, I feel like you're the best. England are the best, have the best win percentage over the last 18 months. Is that right? John loves to reel these stats off to you guys, doesn't he?
That sounds familiar. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And 5 out of 6 of the last T20 series, like actual series, which is awesome. People want to know what the secret is with John Lewis. Like, there's been a lot of white ball success with him. What do you reckon it is about John that brings the best out of everyone? And what differences has he made, if any?
I think, I guess for the as a whole team, some of the best sort of things he's brought in are around, like, obviously the way we want to play, but he's so consistent with the messaging. I think it's easy for a coach to say, well, don't worry about getting out, take on the bowler, keep, like, being positive and going to your strengths and forget about the situations. I think it's quite an easy thing to say, but if it doesn't pay off, I think it can be equally as easy for a coach to sort of doubt their own messaging and question it. But he's just been so consistent the whole time, and it's going to make us the best cricket team. And obviously inspiring and entertaining is, it was his main driver, and that's something that we've all bought into. So yeah, that's definitely been a big thing. I think he treats us all as individuals. He wants happy people, and I think he does his best to manage us all separately. And
It's important, that, isn't it? Because, like, being treated as an adult was something that I never felt like I got for a long time. I just felt like a kid somewhere where, like school, like just always wanting to please and do as you were told because there's so many rules, and you felt like it could all end at any moment if you weren't behaving or doing, and it just felt so like that, which the environment is nowhere near like that now. And all of you are so individual too, so knowing what everybody wants is an absolute headache, I imagine.
it's tricky, isn't it? Like, team dynamics. Like, how do you? We obviously all need to be working towards the same goal. There's a lot of things that need to happen for a team to feel like united, but then to get the balance with that. But also, if somebody needs a break and they, for whatever reason, they're the next 3 weeks for them looks different to some other people in the team. Like it's all just it's yeah, I think it's a really positive thing. And like you say, like if you're being told what to do all the time, you feel like a kid. You're like it's draining, and it's
Well, 'cause you grow up through cricket, right? So once you hit your 30s, you're like it takes you a while to realise, like, what's happening, and you're like, "Oh, I'm still feel like I'm 19, but I think I'm 31 now." Um, I think maybe I should be making my own decisions, choices, feeling more in control of my own, like, destiny or whatever, and you just it takes a while for you to realise you're actually just a bit institutionalised and you need to like, I remember going on holiday, you can obviously remember, and we missed our flight. It was like our first holiday that we'd booked for ourselves as people, and the organisation of it was horrific. Missing the flight made every bit of sense. Like, I'm not surprised because you're always told where to go, what to do, what to wear, what to say, how to hold yourself, how to play cricket, la la la. And now it's like play a natural game, play freely, just play that shot when you wish to play that shot. Be as individual as you can. Have your interviews. Say what you like. Just no, don't swear. So it's great. Like just being able to be the best version of yourself and be free as a human and a athlete makes for a better people, in my opinion, and serves you better in life later, for sure.
absolutely, yeah. I think we're in such a privileged position in that, a lot of us have had really long careers and have grown up in this environment. And although the environment's changed a lot, and I think how it is now is like exactly where it needs to be right now. But when you look back, you just think about all the things that all the life skills that you've learned through being a part of the team and the amount of time we spend with each other. Like we have grown up around each other and have been big influences on each other. And yeah, I think, like you say, learning those life skills, it's like you don't just want to come out of a playing career and not know how to book a holiday and things like that, which is it is easily done. So I think that is a driver for us as a team now as well, is I guess making sure that we've got a great group, but making sure that we're like the best people that we can be in an environment which it's easy to slip into everyone's doing everything for you. And I think that's going to be a bit of a focus going forward.
Definitely, because I just think of being a human and how to survive in what is becoming a bit of a harsh, cruel world, and what that takes to be able to not just like survive in it, but thrive in it. And it's like, right, what kind of person do I need to be? I need to have resilience. I need to know what hard work looks like. I need to be a good person. I need to be kind and considerate and helpful and selfless. But I need to look after my family and prioritize and get a good balance. Like these things you're supposed to learn throughout this experience, but not let it simmer over into becoming selfish and, doing the bare minimum, stuff like that. Like there's so many great lessons to be learned in sport that have served me very well now in this like now turbulent period of time for me. So yeah, you would hope, or you always hope that that's what goes on behind the scenes, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
And I think that's what's being created now, so that's great.
Yeah,
It is I always get the like, "Oh, just turn back the clock 10 years and start now." That would have been grand. But I don't regret my time. I had a great time. But I think there'll be a lot of kids out there looking now going, "Oh, I'm gonna work towards that. That looks great." And that's what's the best bit, and that's to come, isn't it?
yeah. And I think that's just the way it's going. If women's cricket continues to carry on, the way that it's going now, I think everyone will retire and wish that they were, you know, be like, oh, what if I was just like, even now, like I'm thinking, oh, what a great environment to start your career in.
Yeah. But you're also like I know you feel like you're 31, you was meant to when you hit your 30s, you're always meant to feel like sorry, you're 30. I've got that wrong. Nat's 31. Um, you're meant to feel like, "Oh, I've hit 30, or I'm getting on a bit." Oh, don't ever mention age to somebody that's just turned 30 or 31. Like, just shut up. That's not a thing. That's very young, okay? Because in a modern world, I'm living to 140. Don't know about you, so 30 is like the new 20. Um, so, like, for me, you guys that are experienced and a bit older are actually in your primes. Like, this is the prime now. This is not at the back end. This is the prime. So if you want, you've definitely got a great amount of time left, which is great. So you're now saying, "Oh, part of this." Well, yeah, and you can have that for as long as you want. But it's depends where you're at in your life and what you want next, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd like to play as long as, yeah, hopefully a good few more years left.
Until you want some babies.
Babies. Oh gosh, yeah, but I'm institutionalised. I still feel 15. Wear tracksuit bottoms every day and get told what to do.
Oh, the tracksuit bottoms. Tracksuit bottoms are life. I'm not sure I own anything else. Right, let's go on to you as a wicket keeper, because obviously that is what you're mainly known for. You're obviously making big waves with the bat at the minute, but your keeping is what's always drawn the eye. And mentioning someone in particular, Sophie Eccleston, sorry for people out there listening. She's obviously just reached 100 ODI wickets, and a lot of people would like to know what it's like keeping to her. Um, a lot of people feel like she's hard to read. Um, I don't think she's necessarily hard to read in flight or turn, because she doesn't really turn the ball. She turned one yesterday, like nice slip catch. But it'd be more through the pace through the air for me, and from the trajectory where it comes from. Like, she's very unique in the fact that she's very tall, and that I would say her action for every different change of pace is quite the same. Would you agree with that? And do you find her the hardest, or not find it a problem to keep to?
No, I've definitely found Soph the hardest. Yeah, the hardest to keep to over the years. And yeah, for those reasons, really, like it's the changes of pace are quite subtle in her action, but like she can bowl a fastball. um,
I got you. She actually likes to bowl seam in the net.
yeah, um, yeah,
I think she should start with a big hooping in swinger, just first up, like 65. Let's go for it. She is actually ball clocking a couple of spinners at like 56, 7. That I know, which is like, for me in the men's game, that's a perfect pace. If you're in an ODI or a test match, like that pace is grand. So for her to be able to emulate that is really great. So, and that's so different for you. That keeping, that's another level up again, because like I said, that's like men's area. So you're keeping to somebody who's effectively given, like for like, with someone like Moeen Ali, for instance, pace wise and disguise. So it must be a bit of a challenge going from like grenades to when Echo turned up.
yeah. She is a lot different to all our other spinners. Obviously, Glennie is tall as well, but again, a totally different spinner to Soph. Um, and when I mean, I'm remembering the Canberra Test match in the Ashes, and it was like turning and bouncing, and I was literally taking it by my shoulder, and it was like it was brilliant. It was like so fun. Like I think that's when when she just settles in and just bowls that like feels like a perfect ball.
I'm a lot happy with her now being able to be brave enough to bowl slower, because I know when Soph gets off, it's like bowl quicker, quicker, or she can't get them out, or they hit for a boundary quicker, quicker. But now it's like, well, actually, more often than not, she might just chuck a grenade in there to make you get out, and then if she gets hit for a maximum, it's no longer kill someone. It's like brush it off, next ball on back on the money. So I like that. That's gonna Because you always wonder how she's going to evolve, how she's going to get better, and that has been for me the last sort of yearish of doing that. It's been good. I've enjoyed that bit, and a lot of people won't really notice that.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's definitely matured on the pitch, hasn't she? Really, um, and the way I think she's controlling her emotions really well. And yeah, like you say, it used to be a bit of a default to go quicker if she got hit, but now, yeah, using that slower delivery, I think just shows her progression and development. And yeah, like you say, when if you're number one in the world and you're still looking to improve, it's a very sort of dangerous place for the rest of us.
Yeah, you can get in that. Like I was there once and thought you get a bit complacent. You're like, well, I don't need to do anything else. Like I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm the best in the world. What's more to be done? But people change, people get better, people get used to you, or they favour your bowling, as opposed to Aliyah Riaz. So it's like, I just know for a fact during yesterday watching Nat, she was just dying for Fatima or Diana to come back on. And you're just like, oh, please just bowl pace at me. I need it to come onto my bat. So yeah, I know exactly what that feels like. While we're talking about the gloves, obviously you took them from Sarah Taylor a while ago now. I think you've had 60 odd consecutive ODIs since then with them, and which is outstanding. And she was obviously regarded by a lot of people as the best keeper in the world. And um, did you feel pressure when you took them to be as good, and then eventually even better at some point, or did you just go, that's not me, I'm me, this is what I do, I'm good at what I do, and that's enough for me?
I think I was. I don't remember feeling pressure to be as good as Sarah. I think obviously Sarah's an unbelievable wicket keeper, and I definitely feel lucky to have sort of been back up to her for that length of time, because I think it just allowed me to. I had something. I was aiming high because obviously I was thinking, how am I going to get in this team? I was in and out just as a batter only. Wasn't doing enough.
Which is bloody harsh, and you score like 45 top scored ones and then didn't play again.
Yeah,
Remember, that's ridiculous.
yeah. But I was only in because Sarah injured her hamstring, I think it was, and then I had a bit of a wait after that. Gosh, that's yeah. Um, so I think having that length of time to sort of, I think it really helped my development and sort of pushed me to be as good a wicketkeeper as I could be. Um, just thinking, that's the only how like I'm going to have to be really good just to get in here. So then I think when it actually came around, the expectation was, I feel like the expectation was pretty low for everyone else. Like I think within our group, everyone sort of knew um, what I was like as a keeper, but outside of that, it was, or it really felt like there was no pressure because Sarah was great. She was once in a generation, and then I just, it was a bit like, oh,
The thing is, like, the difference between you and her, what I feel is she was very flary. She liked to add spice, bit of cayenne pepper to all of her, like, little bits that are involved with keeping. Just me, if let's say I threw the ball in, I think I was her most hated person to throw the ball in, because I'd want to throw it into the bread basket perfect over the stumps every time. So she'd be like, oh, that's boring. Like, I can't do anything special. But if let's say, no, I won't say to me, that's harsh. She'll forgive me. If she threw it around her ankles, for instance, Sarah would pick it up one handed on the like half volley and just like turn it into making it look like the best thing you've ever seen since sliced bread. And then, and then just be able to, and keepers can underarm the ball back to the bowler. They've got that much control in their gloves. Like that always looks sick, doesn't it? And she would just do all she would just stand there and just stick a hand out to someone throw it in, and everything just had a little bit of spice. Like she would always want everything to look. She was definitely the ethos of inspiring, entertaining. I'll give her that. 100% an entertainer, like Kevin wasn't. Um, but you just like you could do all that, but you prefer to just go about your business and just be like Amy. It's just like sometimes I wish you would just for lols, but that was for me. That was pretty much the only difference. Like the hand eye with you both is absolutely there. One of you would favour probably more the leg side to the offside, but everything is like pretty much on par for me. It's like that's the best thing I ever had for me as a bowler was always having a quality keeper. We've always had, and the value of that is so high. And I would only ever realize that when I went back to play county or play in a franchise. I'd be like, my God, I just really miss having a great keeper to bowl. And then you don't realize how valuable like they are and you are. So we need to show love to our keepers. Throw the ball in nicely.
It is, yeah, it's a funny old skill, really, isn't it? Like being the only one in a team. Um, yeah, the keepers, we do need love.
We do need love.
Yeah, we do.
You need to look after those digits because all yours are a bit like this. So yeah, listen up here. You know what, Charlie Dean, get them frozen nicer,
Oh,
girl.
Charlie Dean.
She needs to do 100 press ups after every game. I love the flair she has though, and how excited she is in the ring, like just buzzing around. But
You can't fault her intent, can you? But when she launches it at me from 5 meters away, maybe closer sometimes.
I'll be in the comms box going, "Ooh," and you just stick your hand out and then just stand there and be like, "Any danger?" Oh god, you must have had. I mean, I've seen so many great dismissals. Um, have you got any? Like, because I've got some bowls, some spicy deliveries I've bowled that I could name off the top of my head. Have you got any dismissals where you're like, "Oh yeah, I was good. That was good. I need to see a highlight reel."
Um, well, I think the catch at Edgbaston was up there, definitely up there for me, purely because um, just in the women's game, we just spend so much time up to the stumps. So it's like I just haven't had that sort of feeling of like even just diving catches. Like I haven't had that feeling, and it seems ridiculous for like professional wicket keeper to say like in the men's game they're taking them every week, and it's not like I'm sure they enjoy it.
I'll tell you what, the one thing I will say, just to give you some praise, is people don't understand how close you stand back. When you stood back, how close you are. It's literally no man's land, and the reaction time is so quick. You look at the men; they're another 20 meters back because their height, their bounce carry, like just. I would love to see you just stand back to some dudes one time, just to see how it feels, like how different it feels.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, you were talking through Specky.
Um, yeah, just that really, just that I've worked hard on stood back. I mean, wicket keeping. I've had a blunder since then, and that is the that is part of the job, unfortunately,
For everyone to see.
for everyone to see. Yeah, and Catherine, I haven't told you this, but before the last game, so we always have a little highlights package before the last game. Before every game, sorry, Chris Sykes, the analyst, he puts a nice little highlights package together. Before the last game, they started playing one, and it had like he always puts some good music on too, doesn't he? And this was like always look on the bright side of life. And I'm like, that's an interesting choice of song. The first clip is like one of the Pakistan batters hitting it through, and like I don't know who it was, but they didn't dive and they've chased it to the boundary and it's gone for four. And I'm like, is this a mistake? And then it was a low lights package. So I was sitting there the whole time, no me.
A like Jokers, you're all a bunch of Jokers song on to highlights of you all making
Yeah,
mistakes.
literally pre-game. And so we were just sat there and watched us all, and I was like, the drop's coming, it's coming, and then it came, and I was like, ah.
Well, let's hope any of the girls weren't feeling extra vulnerable that morning.
Yeah. No, and it was
Day 1 of my period, I'm not ready for this.
yeah.
It needs to remember that females are slightly more sensitive. Probably everybody had left, gone to the room, just cried for 5 minutes.
We did get a highlights package afterwards.
I'd like to see, can you send me that video?
Yeah, it was funny, it was funny. And it was the longest one ever. I was thinking the highlights packages aren't this long. But it was all to tell us, we all make mistakes and it's okay. You can make mistakes. It's gonna happen again.
I want to know if I'm not sure if I can actually remember this because I'm a bit older now and things go in and out. What made you get into keeping in the first place? Keep it brief. Or have you ever wanted to be an outfielder? And I know you've done that for Scorchers a couple of times over the years. So, would you prefer to be an outfielder, or do you love keeping? And what made you do it?
No, I wouldn't prefer to be an outfielder. I do love keeping. It's been a bit of a love-hate relationship over the years. When did I start keeping? I was maybe like 13, 14. And it actually came about because at Warwickshire, we had a trip to South Africa coming up. And I think the year before they'd gone and Liz Smart was the keeper and I wasn't there. She got hit in the face like really early on, broke her nose, and they didn't have a backup. I know. So
At
then,
least it wasn't her teeth. It could have been worse.
yeah, no, only a nose. So then, the next year we were obviously getting ready to go again, and they were like, "Oh, I think we need a backup keeper just in case." And then I thought my bowling was pretty handy, but no one else did. So
It was. I've been on the end of that.
you're the only person that thinks so. Um, yeah. So then they literally just. I think I was like in the slips all the time. So then they were like, "Amy can catch. Let's see if you're any good at keeping." But I was very lucky early on because Tony Frost from Warwickshire recently retired, um, and he was getting into some coaching. And pretty, my memory, like pretty much straight away, I was having like one-to-one sessions with him, which is obviously very, I was only a 13, 14-year-old county cricketer, and to get like a keeping coach of that level that early on, I think was a huge influence. So yeah, very lucky in that respect. Yeah, he must have been very worried at the standard.
I had a similar thing. I thought, I was just average, and then Paul Shaw, he was doing his level 2, so he just used me as a person to do that for him. And he said that to me. He was like, "Well, she's all right. Like, I think you could play for England if you wanted to." And I was like, "Nah." But it does open your eyes and make you think, "Oh, maybe I could." But but you always want that feedback to be honest. Like, don't blow smoke up your ass if you're not actually that can be damaging. So, yeah, that's good. Love that. So that's the story of Amy Jones, and you went on from there. Just were you obsessed with it? Did you love it?
So yeah, I really loved it. At the start, I felt like I picked it up pretty quick, and um, yeah, I guess I was getting a lot of praise, and that just it is nice, isn't it?
I love the praise. It's addictive, isn't it? I guess that's why you go on to have millions of people praise you rather than just, your parents. But you're not like that. You don't need it, but it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think we all need it a little bit, but it's yeah. I think at that age, sort of going through like back in the day, junior super fours, and then onto the England academy. I think my batting sort of showed promise, but yeah, like you say, it was my keeping that was sort of getting all the attention and getting me. My keeping was moving me up, and I think it was relatively short journey really to being back up to Sarah. Um,
But it's good. I'm glad you made that decision because my God, we were short. the country did not develop keepers. So the fact that that was your main skill that then batting developed from too was is so good. So look, we're so lucky, like because we're talking like a handful. We're not even talking like the men must have a couple of hundred, but obviously they're 50 years ahead. So obviously, so yeah, so lucky. And then obviously you've now made 100 ODI caps later from Frosty. Is that what his name was?
Oh yeah, Frosty. 2020 cats. Sorry.
And and you had a record-breaking stand with Charlie. You've won Lady of the Series in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure you got Player of the Vitality Series against Pakistan, just T20s, and then like just looking and feeling good, I imagine. And then we had our other best friend, Beth, my maid of honor, second maid of honor. She presented that cap to you. She shit her pants while doing it. It was actually highly entertaining for me. Um, but that was a big deal for her to do that for you. I know how nervous she was, but I hope it was special for you. And with that, was it special for you? And do you feel like you're at your peak now? Like what I said earlier, do you feel like you're peaking?
Um, yeah, it was really special. I think obviously I knew it was coming up. Well, it was like brought to my attention a few days before. So I knew it was coming. I was a bit nervous about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, to be honest, the whole day, because I don't love the attention. I like praise.
But it's never gone down well, though, has it either? Really, it's never been a good omen. It's never been a good omen.
Yeah, there is a bit of that attached to it too in our team. Um, but then, yeah, sort of getting to Edgbaston, just obviously finishing up my warm up and then looking over and all my family were there, Piper, Beth, um, on the side of the pitch. It's just I did get a little bit emotional, and then I was sort of finishing up my warm up and came over, and then when I saw Beth was doing the presentation, I just my first thought was like, oh, she's gonna hate this, and it was like, oh, like I hope she's okay doing this. And she just nailed it, didn't she? It was so sweet.
Mm. Short and sweet, but just what needed to be said. And her just being there and being brave enough, because I know that's like so out of her comfort zone. And it probably just as awkward for you just standing there.
Yeah, just two awkward people.
All in all, you've both done really well. Oh, it's not easy, is it? Oh Christ. Um, but yeah, you have come so far, and like this last year, you've been just really great to watch in a cricket sense. And I've seen a change in you mentally, and it's just over a year now, obviously, since Helen died, your mom. She passed away suddenly, obviously, and that was a really tough time for you. Um, and your family, obviously. Did you ever think about quitting, or do you think it spurred you on, or changed your perspective on things? Could it have added to this?
So yeah, just over a year, and no, I didn't. I never thought about quitting. I think that period does feel a bit of a blur now, because I think you are obviously in a bit of survival mode. But like when I think back to it, we had a good, like, I don't know, it might have been, it was over a month, 5, 6 weeks as a family, no training, just being together, supporting each other, and just feeling it, and yeah, trying to help each other as best as possible. And then, but I always just thought, I think just with where it, like the timings, the Ashes was maybe, I don't know, where it was in March, so the Ashes was in, when was the Ashes? A few months, like, pardon?
It's all a blur to me too, because that was my first thing I missed out on.
Yeah. So I think I had something like 3 months until the Ashes or something. So it felt like a realistic goal in terms of dealing with everything that was happening. And I think it would have been a totally different story if it had been, a month away. But I felt like I had the time to process it, and the Ashes was a big driver to sort of keep me and family. I think cricket it is a huge part of my life, but theirs as well. And it's their summer. They all the fixtures are in the diary, and they work around it, and they love it. And it's
It brings people together, doesn't it? Gives you a purpose and something to switch off normal life with.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think that was always it was always a driver. I never thought about quitting, or even really missing anything. I think I missed a couple of regional games, and
Yeah, you were certainly keen to, not mad keen, but it never felt like you were doubting coming back. It's almost like I was almost thinking, do you need more time? Like how much time do people normally need? Like everybody's different, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah. But not everybody has the professional life that you do. So that's different too.
yeah, yeah,
But everyone was really kind about it. Like everybody respected your privacy, respected your space, and came together when you needed it. And because you don't need to be reminded of it every 5 seconds, you just want to turn up and carry on regardless.
yeah, yeah. I think so. And I guess it's like grief is just so different for everybody, and you spend a lot of time. Well, as an overthinker and everything, I spent a lot of time questioning sort of how like how long do you need? What do you do? Especially like, I mean, the initial shock lasts a long time, but yeah, but I think it was just all, I had great support around me, and I think it was just all about just doing what's right for you. And it can be, you might feel like, yeah, I can get back into this, but if you need to take a step back after you've made that decision, it's fine. It's just sort of like everything's okay. And there definitely didn't feel any pressure from anyone to get back going. And yeah, I mean, cricket is such, and like most team sports, I'd imagine, your teammates become extended family, and yeah, um, so yeah, the support was great, and yeah, like I said, playing in the Ashes was great for me, but also great for my family as well, as another thing to look forward to, I guess.
Well, cricket is definitely sort of that natural healer, that unconscious natural healer. You don't really know it's happening, but it is happening. But obviously, if it's not enough for some people, like the PCA are so great at providing that kind of support. They have all sorts of helplines to help with all sorts of the trials and tribulations of life, I guess. We've had a lot happen in the last couple of months in the men's game, haven't we? So yeah, that's what sport's great, and these days in the new era, we have the support we need, which is fantastic. So yeah, good on you. Like a lot of people will never have got an insight into that part of your life, or what you went through, or how you got to now producing some of the best cricket of your life. And so I'm sure that's inspired so many people, because loss is way more popular than you think. Obviously, you just don't talk about it or ask about it, but it's going on all the time. So you'll definitely be helping a lot of aspiring young girls and boys go through turbulent times in their life, and make them realize not only can you come out the other side of it and be happy, but you can then go and be even better. So I think it like, thank you for speaking about it, and also hopefully that changes just one or two people's lives as well, because I guess that's why I've been vulnerable in the last couple of years, because it's just important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the next section. This is, oh god, there's a siren coming up. You ready? This is the Cricket Archive guest stat alert. Oh my word, it's so cringe. Right, Amy, has the you have the highest ever score in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy of
Oh, 1-5.
oh, shut up, don't be modest. 163, not out. That was for the Sparks against who?
Western Storm.
Fantastic. In 2021, 17 fours, 2 sixes, strike rate 143. Fabulous. Highest ever in county. Well, I'm just going to call it county cricket because that's where we're going back to. So that's great. I love that. I think that's a really great stat. Are you proud of that?
Yeah, I am proud of that. That was a very cool day. It was at Edgbaston one, and yeah,
You just feel like free as a bird. Like I can hit this wherever I want. Situation.
um, a little bit of one of those days. And I think when you're not worried about getting out, it's a lot easier. And I think I'd got runs the week before, the game before, so it was almost like a bit like, oh, sometimes when you get runs, you're not feeling the pressure like you might at other times. So it's just one of those where it's just I didn't really mind if I got out.
I do love that where you're not really thinking about getting out and you just want to clean hit the ball to all parts. And it when it keeps going, you're not getting out. You're like, then you start pooing yourself because you're like, I feel like I'm getting away with this. It's going on far too long. I wouldn't know what 143 feels like though, but right, I'm going to put you on the spot for this next section. I know I should have prepped you for this. What a terrible best friend I am. So, obviously, this podcast is called Under the Lid. So, I mean, I feel like I roped you into listening to a couple, so I hope you know what's coming up. Um, so, obviously, aim is to get the nitty gritty out, which we have had a fantastic conversation, by the way, and I feel like we've already achieved that. But um, every week we ask our guests to reveal something about themselves that nobody else knows. I feel like I couldn't possibly not know anything else. But like, have you had a recent tattoo on your ass or it doesn't have to be electrifying. I'll let you off this week because I have been a terrible best friend. But is there anything you could tell anyone, like you can play the guitar with your teeth?
Uh, well, I had given this some thought as a listener. I knew it was coming. Yeah. Um, and not a lot of interesting things about me, but um, I just thought I'd go down I don't want to let my fears define me, but I think, I am quite scared of water.
I wondered what you were going to say.
Does that count?
I feel like, well, do you know what? If you couldn't like wash your face or shower without screaming, that would be really entertaining. Um, but I feel like it is quite unique. You do travel around the road. We do go to many beaches. You miss out on a lot of.
Like, I don't even like going in the pool, and I certainly wouldn't jump in.
And on your what do you call it? Whack two experience, jumping off that cliff into the water. It's just a no. It's like actual shaking fear. You are very claustrophobic as well.
Yeah, that was the other one I was going to bring up, mate.
Don't be locking her in any
I
lifts.
won't go in any MRI machines, and it's escalated. Like I don't even like going. Like seven cars. I can't go in the back.
That is actually not a great place to be, is it? I absolutely hate that. I just pull the I've got wide hips, so I can't go in the back of there, guys. Um, right, final round, because let's not keep you any longer than we have to, because you're obviously a busy lady. I'm a busy lady also. And this is that's called the last round, the NAV quiz. So on the board, we've got number of runs, as you can see there. I'm going to ask you as many questions as I can. Jack's not here, so this might actually go a bit quicker. So we've leaderboard wise, I think Ollie Hannon Dalby is at the very top with 8. And then it goes down like 6, 7, 5, 4. I think you should just aim to beat Nat, who got 4. Lame. But if you could just get to the top, I know that the prize at the end of the year is going to be fantastic. Hopefully we get a sponsorship, maybe Vitality, maybe Yorkshire Tea. Let's just put it out there, maybe an IPA. Great. Whoever it is, we're thinking like a really great golf trip somewhere. Like, let's just get ourselves off to St Andrews for a little holiday, shall we? All expenses paid. Yeah, so you better win, gal.
Okay.
Okay, right, I'm going to count you down and then we'll go. 3, 2, 1, go. Where is this year's Women's T20 World Cup taking place?
Bangladesh.
Correct. You scored 41 on your international debut in a World Cup game against which team?
Sri Lanka.
Correct. Who is currently top of the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy table? Which team?
Sunrisers.
Correct. Who has more Instagram followers, me or you?
You.
Incorrect. Stop being nice. At which ground did you make your T20 debut in
Loughborough, Hazelgrave.
for your record against New Zealand, England's previous best 7th wicket ODI partnership held by Danny Hazel and which current England star?
Danny Wyatt.
Nat, which format have you taken more dismissals in, ODIs or T20s?
ODI.
Correct. What position did Birmingham Phoenix finish in the Women's 100 2021?
2021. Third.
Correct. Who do England women play in their opening T20 World Cup game?
Oh.
I've started, so I'll finish.
I don't know.
Give yourself a second. 3.
India.
Oh, South Africa.
Oh. God, I thought we were getting a lot more competitive than I expected then.
Just out of interest, who is Central Sparks' top wicket taker for Rachel Hayhoe this year so far?
Potsy?
Good guess, Hannah Baker. There's some good questions in here. I'm a bit devastated about the Instagram followers one because I thought you were, pretty boring, and my Instagram game has picked right up recently.
Your follower's going to skyrocket.
If I could just have a few more followers, that'd be nice, guys, to make me feel really special.
I'll tag you in one of my posts.
Well, thanks. I mean, another 100k. Well, I believe you got 6. Let's just have 6 runs. So that's not too shabby. That's on par with Sam Cook and Jamie Porter.
Okay.
So not to be laughed at. And there is a girl above you. It is Charlie Dean. She did get 7. A secret badger, or is that secret? It's not really a secret, is it?
No.
Maybe she just had easier questions.
I think so.
And actually, Nat got 5, not 4. Oops.
Okay. At least I did that.
But yeah, that was great. Not quite the gold, but it was a valiant effort. Well done.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll try and get you a golf trip anyway, just for being great for England. It's been great having you on. I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it.
Not weird at all.
Not weird.
Not weird at all. No. Very weird. But yeah, you've got some stuff to do today. Recovery day. Bit of time off now until New Zealand. Bit of chill time. I'm off to the Oval on a train for the men's game. No rest for the wicked. But Amy Jones, thank you so much for being on Under the Lid. And have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
All the best. Right. Well, there she was. Amy Jones, best mate. She called herself a backup guest, but I feel like she did a brilliant job with just a quick turnaround. And what are friends for if they can't help you out on a whim? So what a legend. As you can see, she's a 10 out of 10. That's why she's my best mate. And I'm very proud of her. Hopefully the rich vein of form that she is in continues throughout the year, and she absolutely smashes it in the World Cup. So yeah, please still get your feedback in. Jack will be back next week, hopefully, if he's finished having a great time wherever he is. So make sure any feedback you get in is just slating him purely, or just really difficult questions for him to answer. That would be fantastic. On the same socials, #under the lid, or email hello@underthelid.co.uk, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, well, great, it's just me. I'll see you later. All the best.